couldn't tell that
interviews.
this interview was about gay D&D players within the first
Yes.
5 seconds. We're talking about pink microphones and going.
My name is Sophia Saskin. My pronouns are she, her.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Parker.
Would you like to roll it?
Yes, I'm a little terrified as to what this means, by the way,
Don't
because
even
you
worry
just told
about
me
it.
have it.
Watch me roll so bad. 15. Hey.
Okay, so what's your favorite part of being a dungeon master?
Oh boy. This might be kind of a boring answer, but I really enjoy like the mechanics of it and how the mechanics of the game help to like facilitate the story and kind of working with that. Like working with the mechanical side of it to kind of like push the story forward instead of having them be separate.
That's a 20, baby.
Yeah. What got you interested in D&D and when did you start playing?
Ah,
Oh, did you make a table? Not 20. Did you make a table for this?
what got me interested in D&D and why I started playing was my high school friend group. They were all really into it for a while. They started playing, I think, 2 years before I did. And then they would all be like sitting at lunch planning all their stuff, and I'd be like, "Hey guys, what's happening over here?" And then they were starting up a new campaign, and they were like, "Hey Parker, do you want to join in?" So it's me and my other friend. We kind of joined into their party late. We were 15. We just kind of sat down in my friend's basement, and they ran us through. They were super supportive. They were running us through how to make characters and all that. And it was really captivating instantly because I'd never done anything like that before, and it was really fun to just like sit there and role play with your friends, and that's your afternoon. It's great. It's fun. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And we got pizza, so
Hell yeah. Yeah.
That's actually so fun. No, I love that. So what got me interested in when did I start playing? I kind of started playing by accident. My friend's little brother, who's about 3 years younger than me, was starting a game with his friends, and I happened to be at their house at the time, and I had like he had like helped me like make a character for fun the night before because he was excited about it, and only 2 people showed up total, and we were like, and then they were like, well, that's not enough people, and I happened to be in the dining room, and they were like, Sophia, do you want to join for this first session? Because we don't have enough people, and I was like, sure. And I made a character in 3 seconds total, because they had pre-made characters there, and now I'm still playing that character, and I've been playing in that campaign for 5 years, and those people are some of my closest friends. Yeah.
Why do you think queer people gravitate towards D&D?
ooh, that's a really good one. I could talk forever about the link between queer people and make believe. I think there is a very clear line between queer people and this kind of, when I say fantasy life that they really want, like society for queer people, not to get too deep into society on the
No,
third
please go,
question.
please. Please do.
Society is not built for queer people, so it's very nice to be able to make up a little make believe story where like you can have magic and fun, and like every gay person plays a gay D&D character. I'm sorry. So like it's really nice to just have this little character that you're like, this is my little queer guy. We're in our weird little make believe world where everything is fine for once, because being queer in real life is really, really stressful. So it's nice to just kind of take yourself out of it and be like, here's my new identity for a little bit.
2.
2. Okay. How does being queer affect the characters you create and play as?
Oh boy.
That's a 2. Jesus Christ.
2.
Or sorry,
Woof.
I probably can't say that on your interview. Gosh darn it.
So I started playing D&D before I realized that I was asexual and aromantic. And the first character I ever made, I was thinking about like, oh, what would her sexuality be just for fun, even though there's no romance in that, and there's no like romance in that game, but I was thinking about it for fun, and I was like, oh, she would probably be aromantic and asexual. And then slowly I was like, I might be asexual. And then a year later I was like, I might also be aromantic. It's like subconsciously making characters that I related to, but I didn't realize I related to.
I feel like I should start this by saying that every single D&D character that I've made is trans. I've never not made a transgender D&D character just because it feels weird to like have this fictional character that you have and not include a part of my own identity, because if it's me playing them, it feels a lot more authentic to be like, well, here's parts of me in this character, and then here's the parts that I can make cool and fun and like add all this backstory that I don't have. Because obviously I'm not like a cleric in medieval times fighting dragons.
10, right down the middle. We haven't gotten a repeat so far. Look at that.
Are there any misconceptions that people might have about D&D?
Ooh, okay. You know, I feel like there's definitely the conception that it's very like straight and white and male primarily, and it's definitely not, at least from what I've seen. Like even outside of my groups, like my friend groups that play, hi Echo, which are definitely like not that at all. There's this group that does games at like conventions and stuff, and everybody I've met there has been like really welcoming and really nice. So in the public like sphere of D&D, I think like if you step like not online, because there's definitely a lot of people like that online, but in the actual, I'm lucky enough that in real life, all of the culture around it that I've seen has been really really inclusive and really welcoming. I haven't had a lot of really like bad experiences. So
That's a 12, baby.
Ooh. Have you played D&D with people that you didn't know beforehand, and how was the experience?
This is a really unhelpful answer, but no. D&D was introduced to me by my little high school friend group, which I think kind of elevates the experience in a way, because I feel a lot safer playing with people that I know. Going back to queer identity within D&D, like I would feel a lot more comfortable being like, here's my character, he's trans, to my close friends, especially when I started in high school. Being like, yeah, this is my character, he's trans, than if it were a total stranger, like, I don't know how they feel about that. I don't know how my character is going to be perceived. I don't know how I'm going to be perceived at the table. Is that going to affect how we play together? I feel like with D&D, you like, for me at least, if we're going to get deep into like character and backstory and plot, there needs to be a level of being comfortable with the people at the table.
let's go. 18.
18. What's your favorite class and why?
Oh, it's Rogue.
Yeah.
That is an 18. I will show that for the camera.
My favorite class is Rogue because my first character was a rogue, and I like expertise. I like getting high skills. I like doing big damage. I like that the class has a flow for each of their turns, that's built around like getting sneak attack, and that makes planning your turn a lot easier. 98, like so many of my characters are rogue multi-classes. It's bad, I need to stop.
I've played quite a few classes over the years because me and my friends do a lot of campaigns together. I think personally my favorite is Rogue. I like being sneaky, and I don't have to worry about magic spells, which is nice.
7.
7. Do you have any tools to get into your characters?
Oh, so it's not like a physical tool, but I try to like change my voice a little bit so I can tell when I'm talking and when the character's talking, because I find it a lot easier to kind of have that separation. So like I can interject as myself and be like, well, I actually think this, but my character's going to do this. Oh, I do make playlists for sure. That's a good point. I have a lot of them. I have too many. I find that kind of thinking about my characters and like making stuff like creatively around them and their story also really helps. Like I'm working on like a stop motion thing about one of my characters.
That's so cool.
Thank you. I'm really excited about it. I'll show you later.
That's a 1.
1. Oof. Have you learned anything about yourself through playing D&D?
When I first started playing, I was 15. I was using they, them pronouns. I was in high school. I was like in that weird, not quite in the closet, but like not out to everyone phase. And my first D&D character was, I later made him trans throughout the campaign. But when I first started, he was just a little half-elf guy named Elroy. And I think this is definitely like a universal experience for trans players, is having someone use different pronouns for you when you're in character, because I now use he, they pronouns, and that was a whole journey. But I think part of that I can definitely credit to playing this guy and having people be like, oh yeah, he said this, and I was like, very interesting, I like that. It's going back to queer people and make believe. You can test out new little identities and labels through playing a different character, and I think that was incredibly helpful for me as a strange trans child in high school. 13?
13.
13. What are your thoughts on actual play series and podcasts?
Oh boy. We're gonna have to do fewer questions than what you said because the thing that's really interesting about them to me is that they are a game and a story and a product, and they have to balance all of those because you have the game side, because they are playing a game and it does have rules, and there's the mechanics aspect of that, and there's also the aspect of like, it's just a game, they're just having fun. But at the same time, it's also a product that they are making money off of. So to a certain extent, I'm like, at least for me, it's like you do have to know how to play the game and be good at it because you are doing this and making money from it. And it's also a story that is being like put out publicly. How do you balance the mechanical aspects of the game and having game knowledge, which you have to have because this is your job, because it's also a product, but you also have to keep in mind that you're telling a story publicly. And how do all of those three things like exist at the same time? And I think it's really neat.
My thoughts on actual play series and podcasts. I love them. I think they are so, so great. I'm a huge fan of, as you know this, you were the one who introduced me to the Adventure Zone, and I'm obsessed with it. I eat it up. I think it's really, really fun to, especially since I've been learning how to become a DM or a keeper or whatever you want to call it. The first time I was listening to them, I was listening to them as a player and going, haha, this is so fun. When you see people that do it on a professional level and you see how good they are at all the world building and character and like seamlessly doing things like combat and all that, it's very nice to kind of take ideas for that and be like, oh, okay, so this is how I can apply it to my campaign. And when you're listening to them as a keeper, GM, whatever you want to call it, it's really interesting to listen to the DM side of it and have them watch them kind of focus, like center things around their characters and how they're writing things and how they're presenting their ideas, what they're saying, what they're not saying. Like I think it's really interesting, one from a research perspective of D&D, and then two, also, it's really fun to listen to other people have these great adventures. It's kind of this like little intimate moment between these people that you get to listen to, and they're all just having fun at the table, and you're like, oh, I'm having a great time here as well. It's really fun. I love it.
17.
17. What's your favorite part of playing?
17. I really, really love role playing. Like, I think that's definitely part, like the spells and the fighting, like that's all fun and stuff. But I think there's something really fun about sitting down with a group of people, especially your friends, and being like, here's my character, here's your character. How do we make these work together? How do we have these fun little character interactions? All of the little in jokes that you have, the way that your character specifically affects the plot. Like, I think it's a lot different too, because when I'm writing, it's just me writing. I've made all of these characters. Whereas if someone else is at the table over there and they've got a character that I don't have a plan for in my head, it's really fun to bounce off of them and just kind of see what works. And seeing how, I think with a D&D character, it definitely comes with, like, the party comes with the expectation that you're going to become this, like, this group, this found family. So it's out of character. It's figuring out how to make that work when you've got all these characters that are really, really different. It's really fun to figure all that out.
I love getting invested in a story that you have input into and like not control over, but like that you can affect. I find that it helps, like I get more invested in D&D than a lot of other like storytelling mediums. Also, I really like the mechanical side of it. I like thinking about like character builds, combat. I find the mechanical combat really, really fun. Some of my groups, it's like D&D's like scheduled friendship time, which can be very, very nice. But yeah, there's a lot of things I like about it.